What's going on, PMC fans? It is your boy Jay Specs, and today, people, we are here about time, right, for the weekly recap. Now, I got some splaining to do because we've had people that were supposed to do the weekly recap, but I mean, lives getting away. No hard feelings. Yeah, it's aggravating as a commissioner to have people sign up for things that they can't fulfill. But I mean, at the end of the day, I understand this not being that important to someone when, real life things happen. So I'm not going to sit here and throw anybody under the bus. Thank you to all the help that you did do, the ones of you that were supposed to do this. But I have a friend here with me that's just going to help me pick up the slack. And I'd like him to say hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jacob, as always, and I'm your coach of the Green Bay Pikachus. And this is the weekly recap for week number 2 of the PMC, the Pokemon Masters Cup.
Perfect. See, why the thing about being a commissioner, people, that a lot of people don't understand, like a lot of people get mad at me, like I take the blunt of the blame for everything that goes wrong and barely any of the blame for anything that goes right. But I mean, it's my league, so I'm fine with that.
I was going to say,
No, I
wouldn't it
don't
be the
care.
credit for anything that goes right? But
Well,
I
I
guess,
mean,
yeah,
you know
I
what,
could be
credit is
just.
a bad word, you horse. Bad.
I know.
But
I know.
it goes without saying, if something isn't going to get done by the people you ask, well, might as well step in and do it yourself. And
Yeah.
Jacob was so gracious enough to say, look, Specs, I can help you. So we will no
All
longer
right.
miss any weekly recaps, but we are going to go ahead and get these things popping ourselves. With
One thing I'm really gonna be weird about is talking about my own game and my own perspective, even though I narrated myself. It's just gonna be super weird for me.
Oh yeah, I know that as well. Same for me. It's gonna be weird. I guess for the most, I'll try to be unbiased, especially if I lose. I'll probably talk crap about myself. But start off with the first match, shall we? We have the Sydney Crocodiles versus the Seattle Smeargles, and in this one, Sydney was able to pick up a 3-0 victory.
Hmm.
Pretty good victory. A 3-0 is nothing to sneeze at over the young Flex himself.
Sketchy Smeargle and the Seattle Smeargles. Something of note. I don't really understand why he didn't bring Victini. It's a Victini. That's 2 weeks in a row where Sketchy hasn't brought Victini yet. Victini is one of the best mods in the format, and I'm just really perplexed by that, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. If it came down to like my top five in the format, Teeny Jirachi, Mega Pinsir, Kyurem Black, and then I mean Excadrill, just because it's my favorite Pokemon. He has he has three of my top
I
five
know, right?
on his
He's
team,
got like one of the
and
best spinners in the format in Excadrill. He's got like two of the hardest hitting Pokemon, period. Victini's got the highest base power move aside from Z moves, and Kieran Black's Kieran Black.
yeah,
I
and
just
it's like I understand not wanting to bring your top three every match in terms of not being easy to prep for, but
I would just say bring
in
them
a
all.
situation where your top three is Kyurem, Excadrill, and freaking Victini, no
Hmm.
one can prep for all three of those.
I
I don't care what's your team.
I had no
You're not prepping for all three of those.
last week. I had no switching to Band Victini, and I was like so thrilled that he didn't bring it. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah, and it's like I feel like Victini's a mon where even if it doesn't touch the field, just the simple fact that you have it in the back, people have to play around it. I mean, yeah, but I mean the only issue with Sketchy's team is his team's painfully slow, man. His
Hmm.
team is painfully slow.
Yeah, and there's not even like a speed pass mon like Scolipede or Blaziken on it either that could help with that, or even Ninjask. But Ninjask is terrible. But like, I don't know. I think he could like really. He would have been if he would have drafted like Leavanny from like tier 5. It would have been. I think it would have really worked well with his team. That way he could get sticky web support and it'd be just like a lot faster in that regard.
Yeah, no, I feel that, but overall, I mean, a very solid one for Sharpino,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, all of the divisions are kind of competitive right now. I mean, I know where this is week two, and this video is going to be a little bit late, and we're currently in week three, but there's no 3-0 like team and then a bunch of 0-3 teams in the same division, you know. For the most part, we might have a 3-0 somewhere, but then everybody's either 1-0, 2-1, stuff like that. We don't have too many bottom feeder teams, and I
Mm.
mean, it's painfully clear that the competition is picked up.
Something to note though, Tapu Koko didn't do really much of anything. It didn't get a kill. It didn't die. It just was there this game.
Yeah, I feel like Tapu Koko is going to be very. I feel like Tapu Koko is going to be the Mega Altaria of League format in the sense that OU wise, it's considered amazing. I don't even really think it's considered amazing in OU,
I think it's
but
just
I
solid.
feel like it's just going to be overrated. Like people are going to pick it because pretty shiny fast electric type, but it doesn't hit hard enough
Without being
on
electric
either
terrain.
side. Yeah,
If it's
to
in electric terrain,
warrant.
it can hit pretty hard, but like outside of that, it's just kind of like underwhelming.
Yeah, I don't know. I love Tapu Koko's design, but as far as Pokemon goes and the fact that his move pool lacks play rough, I mean, eh. But this isn't us, you know, trying to bash on anybody's teams. Let's you ready to move on to the next matchup?
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm ready for this one.
All right. So coming in our second game of the week, we have the Tampa Bay Frogadiers, the Verd, the one and only, versus Jonah,
And the
coach of the. I mean, I'm sorry, Isolate, coach of the Phoenix Incineroar. It's funny how
well,
he has a fire mascot and his team is icy.
couldn't we call
His
him Jonah
YouTube is
though? Because
icy.
like a lot of times within the game, Verd's like, oh Jonah instead of isolate.
I mean, fair enough, but his links just won't. When his links, if his links are ever in the description, people, it won't say Jonah, it'll say Isolate. So just keep that in mind. And I recently watched this game the other
Me
day
too.
because
I
I
did
knew
too.
yesterday. Actually, no, it wasn't yesterday. It was earlier today before I went out just to give me some prior knowledge. And I mean, other than Bird's blunder with the with the Magnezone on the air balloon, Bird, I
Oh
mean,
Verd.
is pretty good at handling situations no matter what happens.
I
And
think the
because of
assault
that,
vest Hydreigon was a really good bring too.
yeah, no, Bird's very interesting when it comes to Hydreigon sets. I mean, apparently Dark Dragon's an amazing typing. It's just disrespected due to the fact that it's gets, you know, bopped by fairy types, with fairy being a very aggressive type now because of, you know, Gen 7 and all that. But I mean, Verd was able to turn what at the start of the game looked kind of shaky into a 3-0 victory. And I mean,
Something I
again,
something I do want. I'm not trying to critique or anything, but like I think he let Gorgeist go down too early because, like he was saying in his commentary, he's like, "Oh, this could be problematic as it was my best check to Kabutops, and I don't know what's gonna happen now. Like Kabutops could be a really big threat, and he still got through it, but." I don't necessarily agree with Gorgeist going down that early, especially when you need it for the most part. With him on like Kabutops isn't that greatest, but it did pose as a big threat to his team.
I was actually kind of surprised that he brought it. Like, I don't remember any rain dance shenanigans happening. Maybe he just brought it to be a spinner. Dude, I didn't get a chance to watch his side yet. The only one I was able to watch was Verd's. Because I tend to, if whenever there's a live com option, I gravitate towards that. I love live com.
Because you
Nothing
can hear
against,
their like
yeah,
process
you
as it's
see
going
everything,
on.
play by play, stuff like that. But, yeah, Haxorus is always a threat. Torn T is Torn T. I don't know. Verd was able with that offensive Zapdos to put enough pressure on as well as Hydreigon to, you know, secure himself the game.
I mean, yeah,
So
there
I
really
mean,
weren't a whole lot of switch-ins. Like Uxie is just more passive than anything, and yeah, it can take some hits from Zapdos, but it's still not necessarily going to be doing anything back to Zapdos. So I mean, there's like no switch-ins to Jonah's team for the Zapdos because didn't it carry Heat Wave too for Magnezone? I'm sure, right?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. Wait, you said which one?
No, Zapdos
Zapdos, right?
had Heat Wave for Magnezone, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty. It had to. Verd would have to bring
Yeah,
that,
I'm pretty
especially
sure
on
he would
like
have. I was gonna
Zapdos. I
say,
probably have to watch his team builder to make sure. But
yeah.
yep, two back-to-back 3-0 victories, folks. Now we move on to the next match, being a shellagging of the Red Spark Vikavolt versus the Grimsby Town Grimers.
Oh
And
boy,
quite
this was a
frankly,
nasty one.
Dolphin was on his A game, people. He that King Drapali, he brought the rain, and
And there's,
Grimsby didn't know how to handle it. Honestly,
I mean,
that's pretty much what it looked like.
Celebi put in the finest of work in this game. Holy cow! Like it
Yeah,
just
so he picked
four
up a clean
kills.
4 kills. Kingdra was able to put on some offensive pressure as well, and Dolphin was able to successfully keep the rain up when he needed it. Well, get it up just to help, put that offensive pressure on, kind of silencing Entei so that those I can't remember if the Entei was banded, but the Sacred Fires when they actually went off didn't do much damage to what they hit, and
I mean, I'm
I
honestly kind of surprised by this matchup. I mean, that he brought Entei because he had so much for Entei. Because, like, he's got Kingdra that quad resist. He's got, I don't know, like, he's got Politoed that can take hits especially well in the rain. And just, I don't necessarily understand why he brought Entei to the match when I think Pokemon, other Pokemon could have done a lot better for his team than Entei.
and as far as his the only thing I have to like I love regenerator cores, but every regenerator core is either weak to something like Weavile or weak to something like Celebi. It's like any regenerator core is either weak to a grass type with ice coverage or psychic coverage, or Weavile just rips it to freaking shreds with knockoff. Unless you're Alamomola. Alamomola is a god, but then that's freaking Celebi beats Slowbro, beats Amoonguss. It's like I don't know. Dolphin confuses me a lot because of his style of play is so unorthodox. Sometimes he'll look like someone who's been, a top tier league player for years, and then other weeks he'll do some silly plays that make you think, Dolphin, why'd you do that?
I
But
know, right? Like sometimes, like I think that way about myself. I'm just like, wait, Jacob, why would you make that play when that's not the correct play, or why would you bring the set when it's a terrible set? Something that I'm also wanted to note. I'm not sure why Grimsby did not bring like Specs Hoopa because like looking at Dolphins team, he didn't really have a switch into Specs Hoopa aside from Celesteela like that, and then Meloetta obviously too, but he didn't bring Meloetta, so like Specs Hoopa would have just put in the finest to work, especially if you get a safe switching to like Politoed or Fortress or like not Celebi because Celebi could have carried Shadow Ball or something, but like once you get a safe switch in, you can just nuke something.
oh my goodness, sorry about that yawn, people. It's
Uh-huh.
getting late. I'm getting tired. Oh my god. But I feel
Mm-hmm.
like Grimsby probably could have put a little bit more pressure on with Weavile just because of how
Mm-hmm.
aggressive of an offensive presence it is. And the Scarf Dragonite, though I understand that in certain situations that would seem like a good set.
But he's got
But
rain.
yeah, the rain and then the weakness policy Dragonite set could have been really interesting for
Because
you.
doesn't
Whether
Dragonite get agility too? You could have just ran
I'm
agility
pretty
weakness
sure it gets
policy.
agility.
Yeah, because then you could have ran that and you could have outpaced things then.
Yeah, and it's like that would have been ridiculous with the multi-scale. Or if you wanted to go physical, you could have went physical. But it's just like T-Punch at plus, like, if you were Dragon Dance, T-Punch at +3, I'm pretty sure 2 at KO Celesteela. So it's like Dragonite really would have been able to run. And in the rain, yeah, it would have been 100%. Or if you want to run Thunder, like, it could have ran through it. Dolphins
Yeah.
using rain in this match the way he's supposed to use rain. Next up, sorry about that little intermission, folks. We had a little situation that had to be handled, but no need to worry. We have Phantom Bay's coach of the New York Cosmogs versus Heavy Metal Pokemon, coach of the Colorado Mammoth Swine, and he did not hold back with his battle titles because he put Nebby in the bag, and I was like, oh my, Nebby does not belong in the
Yeah,
bag.
yeah. Well, yeah, you got to let Nebby out of the bag so you win.
Yeah, he did something with a bag because he was able to pick up a very. I
Meta.
can't remember if this match was like hagsy or not because I know Tyler's been dealing with a lot of hags recently.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
know.
watched this
Hacks for like most of the. I don't know. It just hasn't been going well so far for him, but I'm sure Tyler will manage somehow. Maybe try to push for a playoff spot down the road. Who knows?
Yeah, but Eric with his dual evolution core of Jolteon and Espeon, that's actually a very interesting offensive core, by the way. Was
Hmm.
able to pull up a 2-0 victory over the Cosmogs. And like I said, it just seemed like Tyler wasn't really able to catch a break here. Um,
Wasn't it the lead matchup, Ampon versus Galvantula, or was it am I remembering this match incorrectly?
no, hold on. It might have been. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I'm not. Yeah, it's looking like it because it looks like he switched into Magirna and got a floor cannon off on the Ambipom. So I'm guessing he had to do everything that needed to be done to get them webs off the field, which I mean I understand. Even though the webs could have helped his Defiant Bisharp a little bit
Yeah, I
to
mean, Bisharp already
possibly.
hits like a truck as is, but like with the sticky webs, like the Defiant boost, like that's just brutal, like absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it would absolutely rip through his team, and it's funny like webs. I don't know. In a situation where your opponent has Espeon and a Bisharp, I wouldn't really go for webs.
I mean, Galvantula could have been really useful in the match, but like other than that,
There's
though, like
there's a
I don't think Galvantula was necessarily the best bring because like think about everything that Eric, or I should say Heavy Metal Pokemon, has for Tyler. Like he had Jolteon to be immune to electric, Tapu Fini to resist bug. He has Chandelure that can take hits. Goodra just eats up anything that Galvantula wants to do. And I don't know. I'm not necessarily convinced that Galvantula was the correct bring here, but overall, like I mean, I guess any Pokemon could work in any given situation, depending on the set. But I
Yeah,
mean,
it's just depending on the set and the player to see what they can pull off. But I mean, things happen. And I mean, it's still early season, people. This is only week 2. So I mean, yeah, Tyler currently is 0-2, but anyone can bounce back, people. Anyone
anyone can
can
bounce
bounce
back,
back.
and just because you start out really well and start doing really well, it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna have success later in the season too.
Oh yeah, no, you can do absolutely horrible.
Exactly.
Now, the next battle we have Johnny GB, coach of the Oregon Ducklets, versus Seabass, Blue Victini, coach of the Montreal Monferno. And I mean, it's just a tale of three and O's. And Manaphy looks like it was just able to come in and do its
Oh,
dirty work.
I thought you were gonna say it's just a tail glow of Manaphy getting three O's, and it's got
Oh,
seven
damn.
kills on the season right now with no deaths. And this Manaphy's just like putting in the finest of work so far this season. It's crazy how effective Blue is with Manaphy this season. It's just really, really solid for him.
Yeah, no, see that's the like I some people like to say, "Oh, why do you bring Tail Glow every week? Why do you bring?" There's certain Pokemon that you can bring the same thing every week and just like alter a few moves and it'd still be effective. Like Manaphy is bulky enough to not die to any one hit from certain mons, and it can get that Tail Glow up. And then if it gets that Tail Glow up, you're gonna have a tough time.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have some. You have to have faster offensive mons that can, like, well, first you have to whittle it down. Then you have to have faster offensive mons that can just knock it out. Then,
Yeah, literally,
or
and like those base 100s do not like dying to everything, man. They do not die.
no, they do not. It's just absolutely crazy how effective. Um, like, oh, I was gonna say something. I just had a brain fart. I have no idea.
Well, those are always fun.
Yeah.
Maybe if it comes bad to you, you can just bring it back up as we go on to the next match, which is mine. The SL Benefica and Heracross Knight. Hera. I'm just gonna call him Hera because I feel weird saying Heracross Knight. Against me and my Hamden High Dragons, and I am able to lose 2-0 here.
Honestly, like it really looked like you had the advantage. Like at the beginning of this match, like Mammoth Swine was just putting in the finest of work, and like then you spun away his rocks. I think with Starmie, and then Starmie died to a crit, I believe.
I'm pretty sure it was a crit or some. This match, see people. One thing, I'm not gonna make any excuses for my match against Heracross. He won. By all means, he did what he had to do to win the game. But my life has gotten ridiculously busy in the week of, and like the past 2 weeks. Like last week, for an example, I worked 6 straight days
Oh,
with
those suck. I
my
hate those.
first.
Don't worry,
Yeah, my
I gotta do that this next week, so I completely understand.
yeah, my first day off being yesterday, and then I'm off today, and then I'm right back into work tomorrow. So it's just like I'm not using that as an excuse, but that I mean that's there. You know, I didn't have much time. I'm not gonna say I wasn't game ready, but I didn't play to the best of my abilities. And like I said, he capitalized. There was a situation where I could have brought the game back once it got a little like another thing is certain play when people make plays that I don't like understand, it kind of throws me off. I'm not gonna say it throws me on tilt because most of the times I can recover, but it's just like if you make a play that I don't necessarily see why you made the play, it's gonna make me be
Yeah,
why.
yeah, this is why I don't necessarily like doing live commentary. I like doing post narration because that way I can explain my thought process a lot better. Because a lot of the time when I'm like doing like live commentary, like I'm so concentrated on the match that I'm just not even talking at all. I'm just like thinking about my plays in my head and just like I don't necessarily talk and stuff. But yeah, I'm
No, I
totally.
mean, I'm getting way better at post com now. Before I wasn't comfortable doing post com, and I just wanted to do live com because even though the jitters were there, it was just
Mhm.
so much fun, man. And I actually thought out everything because I didn't want to look stupid live, you know. So
Well,
it pushed me to play better,
I look
and
stupid, period, so it just doesn't matter for me.
but when I was saying there was a situation where I could have brought the game back, all I had to do was click Z bulk up. But I was in the situation, it was Infernape in on his Cobalion. I didn't think he was going to switch out his Cobalion, so I ended up clicking Z Mach Punch. It wasn't really a mistake, but I also really didn't mean to do it. I was just like, at that point, I was like, all right, a regular Mach Punch isn't going to kill this Cobalion. Let me go for Z Mach Punch. Regular Mach Punch, even with him at -1, wasn't going to kill Cobalion, which is why I didn't think he was going to switch out. And he swapped out into his Toxapex. I could have Z-Bulk up there and then 2-hit KO'd his Toxapex with T-Punch, beat the Cobalion with Mach Punch. You know, I could have turned the game back around. But it was just like, I was like, wait, he's switching out his Cobalion? Now I literally waste my Z move.
I
So
know,
it
and
was
it's
just
like
like,
it's super important to like just connect on all the Z moves that you need to do in the game. Otherwise, it's just like brutal, and then you're just so behind if the Z move does not work out to your advantage.
yeah, and then another thing is I took extra sensory off of my Greninja because I was like, Toxapex isn't going to be that big of an issue. I have Electros. And
Oh,
Electros,
it
by
is.
far, I love Electros. And I let the thing go down. And I was like, oh, wait, he has a Toxapex. And I have no way to hit the Toxapex. Hooray! And then Toxapex was literally able to sit in and kind of stall me.
Was
It
that
was
after that was after Mamoswine went down already, right?
No, I'm pretty sure Mammal Swine came in and killed the Toxapex, but then died to like Life Orb or something.
Hey, still knocked it out. It did what you needed it to do.
Yeah, it's like if I would have kept extra sensory on my Greninja, but my like me and Hera talked about it because he even asked me, why didn't you have extra sensory on Greninja? My thought process behind it was
You felt like you had enough because you had like if you
no,
already.
because if I kept the set the way it was, I wouldn't have been able to touch Mesprit at all. But
Mm-hmm.
if I chuck on Hidden Power Ground and keep Dark Pulse, I would be able to hit everything he had, including his swaps. He had like freaking
Didn't he get Raikou
Toxapex is hit
or?
by HP ground. Cobalion's hit by HP ground. Raiku's hit by HP ground. So that's why I ended up adding HP ground there. I'm
But
pretty
we're
sure I was HP ground, Ice Beam, U-turn, and like Dark Pulse because if I wasn't Dark Pulse, I was 1v1 by his Mesprit.
well, yeah, U turn does a little bit, but it doesn't do enough to like do as much as Dark Pulse would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, yeah, it was just a really good match to watch. It was competitive from both ends. You didn't really know who was gonna win until the end of the match, really, until the last few turns of the match.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he had Exploud before, and he swapped out Exploud for freaking Swallow. When they both basically do the same thing, except Swallow's fast,
I
and
was gonna say Swallow's
it
way faster, so I think yeah, it's weak to rocks, but I think that speed just helps it a lot more.
Yeah, but we're not gonna harp on my match anymore. I mean,
No.
I'm gonna do what I have to do to try to come back next week, and if not, then I mean, sue me.
Yeah, Sumi is right. And then you can give me
Do
the
you?
money.
Oh no! Oh my
Bless you.
God! Ow! That sneeze hurt. I tried to mute myself and tell you to start the next one
That's
before the sneeze came, but you know,
okay.
good old sneezes.
Where are we going next?
Next we have the Orlando City Superiors, which is a D-pad gamer, versus Dom's Game Room, coach of the Richmond Rayquazas.
Well,
And
this
this
one was a
game was,
barn burner.
yeah, this game was actually amazing. It was twists and turns. Dom brought all types of heat. Quite frankly, Dom was dropping D-pad on his neck with Quillfish.
Rain. He first set up
Swi-
the rain with Heliolisk. Then he went into Quillfish, got an SD up. It didn't he get two SDs up when it was at +4, I believe.
Pretty sure he was, and then Arcanine had to. I honestly no, it might have just been +2.
Oh
I
yeah, but
think
still,
plus
it's in
two
the
was enough for
rain.
him to kill the Lele.
It was still in the rain. It was still it just like, oh my lord, Quillfish putting the finest to work.
But then D-pad did some late game adjustments. He did his greatest Greg Popovich and, assess the situation and was able to find out what needed to be done for him to bring the game back, kill the threat, which was Quillfish, and he was able to come
Yeah,
back and win the 1-0 game.
I think Dom could have ended up winning in the end had he not used his Babiri Berry Togekiss as soon as he did. Now, I don't know the entire moveset on Togekiss. I'm not sure if it had Flamethrower, but if it did, it probably could have lived that Bullet Punch at the end. Or was he banded, Scizor?
Um, I don't know if he was banded. I might have to watch his team prep again. All I
Yeah,
know is Scizor was able to come in late game and clean up.
for sure.
And
So, yeah, it could have been a victory for Dom, but either way, it was a fantastic game. And this is probably the game of the week, honestly, because for as short as it was very entertaining and highly competitive for both
yeah,
players.
no, that game definitely kept me on my toes. I was like, holy moly, I don't want to play Dom if
No,
he's gonna bring stuff like that.
that
But I
much.
mean, at the same time, I'd love to play. Like I love playing everyone. I'd take everyone as if they're the best. When I prep, like
Yeah,
I try not to look at somebody and say, oh well, he sucks, so I'm not gonna put that much in the prep. No, I never do nothing like that.
no, you have to put as much prep in every game because as soon as you take your foot off the gas pedal, you're gonna like be taken off by someone's crazy set that they might run, their crazy heat they might run, and then you just might lose like 6-0.
Yeah, exactly. And nope.
Maybe
I
not
was
that
6-0'd
drastic.
last season. I don't want to get 6-0'd again.
Oh, didn't you 6-0 Verd last season though?
No, I think I 5-0'd Verd, but I was literally Toja flinched. Well, not flinched, but he got like 4 or 5 ancient power boosts. And just wrecked my life.
Oh, I thought you 5-0'd him though.
No, I 5-0'd Verd. I'm talking about Espelanter. He 6-0'd me because of
Oh
Toja.
yeah, I totally forgot about that from last season. That was insane.
It was like he clicked ancient power the first time, and I was like, please don't get the boost, and he got the boost. And I was like, oh. And then
Yeah,
he
once
clicked
you
it again, and then he got another boost. I was like, holy moly.
you'll get your revenge in APA.
Yeah, I can't wait to play. That was my first time ever playing him too. But
Oh man,
last but
he's
not least,
unpredictable.
last but not least, we have the Green Bay Pikachus, which is the one and only Jacob as always.
Who's that guy? He sounds
Vers-
lame.
I don't. He might be a horse. We'll talk about that after.
Totally.
Um, versus Macedon, coach of the Macedon Gastrodons.
Oh boy, this match was extremely hard to prep for because he's got not only Genesect that can basically get any U-turn off at any given point, but he's got two trapping mons. I guess three if you count Pursuit Sneasel, but he's got Dugtrio and Magneton. So I'm just like, it made team building very very difficult. Hence why you saw the Shed Shell Empoleon set because if you really think about it, I needed to bring Shed Shell because if I bring Shookaberry, I get wrecked by Magneton. If I bring like Wakanberry, I get wrecked by Dugtrio. Whereas I had Shed Shell, I can just switch out into the appropriate counter.
Yeah, I feel that.
Excuse
So
me.
that's clean. I like it. I like it. I like it.
And then
Um, but Macedon's team's very interesting, man. It's I guess the Mantine is starting to grow on me. Like I wasn't really a fan of Mantine, but his Salazzle, Genesect, Doug Trio, those are, I don't know. I love Salazzle. Salazzle design wise, my favorite Gen
I
7 mon.
fully expected HP Grass on it, but he brought HP Ice for the Salamence instead. So my Assault Vest right here actually just kind of walled it because it was so
Wow.
bulky. And I fully expected HP Grass. So and we rematched. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna bring HP Grass next time. But he actually, well, I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah, you don't want to get rid of all your secrets. But yeah,
No,
did
no, 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 no.
Jacob?
I don't want to give away any transactions that happen in the future either for either team.
Yeah, we gotta keep that going until we have the people announce those themselves or something like that. Because we don't do a trades and transaction video anymore. Because yeah, it's hard to find good help around here sometimes.
I'll just do it myself.
Oh my God, you don't need to do it. And
No,
then,
because I have so much other stuff I'm behind on.
but yeah, Jacob was able to pick up a 3-0 over Macedon, and I believe that pushes Jacob to 2-0.
Oh,
So
something
yeah,
I do want to state. Mastodon brought a really effective yet really annoying Reflect type Latias set. I didn't have a whole lot for it. I was trying to poison it by getting it on the switch in, and I almost did, but Toxic missed on the Latias, and it would have made the match a lot faster paced. But regardless, that is more than okay with me.
yeah. I mean, a W is still a W, and I believe I face Macedon week 5. So yeah, I can't wait for that.
Oh, that's gonna be an
But
interesting match.
people, if you guys enjoyed this week's rendition of the weekly recap, make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe to all the coaches. Subscribe to me, by the way, because I'm one away from 200. It's so. If I had OCD, it would be destroying me right now because I am literally at 199. I want to cry, but you know what? We're not going to worry about that. Make sure to subscribe to the PMC channel as we are at 98 subs. We are 2 away from 100. We are over 200 followers on Twitter. So I mean, we're growing, man. We're growing. I'm
Bada
loving
boom!
loving the productivity of the PMC. And Jacob, is there anything else you want to say before we let these people go?
I don't know. My name is Jacob as always. Thanks for watching the weekly recap for week number 2 of the PMC. Have a great day, everyone, and we love you all so very much. Thanks for subscribing to the PMC channel.
That perfect send off from my boy Jacob. All right, guys, you all take it easy and stay out the saddle.
Boom!